Freedom's the
Back in
answer.
the second hour.
What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Who grew up tall and proud in the shadow of the mushroom cloud? Reached our voices can't be heard. Just wanna scream louder and louder. What the hell we fighting for?
Yeah, we're fighting for some sound fixes. That's what we're doing. You know, go ahead and bring my mic up enough here. We got the heavy from the, oh man, we're all unbalanced. Yeah, well, we're trying to fix it because we knew we had this interview and we wanted to make sure that we didn't have the conflicts and the levels and so on. The sound guy be here in a little bit. Adrian has been so kind that she's going to come in the second hour and I can talk to you about some things that I wanted to talk to you about in the second hour. About first hour. That's just the way we roll. Well, what we're going to do is Adrian Pine, she is a professor of anthropology at American University specializing in Latin America. And we've had her on before, and she's really well versed in what's going on in Central America. And what I wanted to do is kind of get what's happening with WikiLeaks and how this has had an impact worldwide. Because when you have our State Department out there going, you know, this is what we think of these people, and this is how we're going to use the military and diplomatic contacts and all of our force of financial systems and treaties with how we're going to look at your bank account in Panama and how we're going to do all this stuff has an impact with how individuals, because it always comes down to, you know, how are we going to shear the sheep in other countries? You're just livestock. Well, when the livestock starts to realize exactly what's happening, they go, I don't like being livestock. Being livestock is like ungood. We're not going to do that anymore. So, you know, what kind of impact is that having on the street where an activist such as Adrian Pine is out there talking to people? Really, I'm not even sure I'd call her an activist. She's really an anthropologist that's just trying to, you know, see what's going on and understand what's happening in the world. And all of a sudden, all of this comes to where everything she's been saying for years, all of a sudden, boom, neon flashing, I told you so. Then what? And when the riots start, you know, who are they directed at? You know, we have this in the United Kingdom right now. They're starting to, you know, pelt with paint and busted windows and whatever at the royalty. Here we have Prince Charles and Camilla. They're sitting there, and all of a sudden, you know, bam, people are banging. I'm amazed that at the restraint that they didn't shoot people. And a lot of times, I'm watching some of the videos. We post them up on Freedom's Phoenix, and you look at some of the videos, and it's these people are taking poles and they're poking the office. These are not Lovolutionaries. And a lot of times, you know, you'll have a crowd of people, and they'll have one of their boys out there, you know, poking the man. You know, they're you know, the agent provocateur kind of thing. I'm going, really, is that really, you know, to your benefit? I mean, sooner or later, you always have violence. It's just, who is it really serving? Who instigates it? Who's when you got an angry crowd? Who's the one that's really, you know, throwing the first brick through the window? Is it the student? Is it somebody trying to instigate something? I mean, you know, where is it? Is it time to, I'm going to go over here, man. It's amazing they didn't shoot a lot of people or get more aggressive in it. But, you know, it is interesting that you have the royalty, you know, the royal we are not amused, you know. When you have that, and they're bashing on your car, they're busting the windows, they're throwing paint on you. You know, anytime you come outside the palace walls, when has this happened before? We were talking about it, my wife and I, last night. And we'll get Adrian on. We need to do this today, and we'll get this taken care of one way or another. And we have the sound guy. We were in this morning doing balances, so it didn't have the crackle popping, so we get the volume up and everything. There's a switch flip somewhere, so I don't have time to go in there and start playing with switches, and he'll be here in a little bit, and we'll get it taken care of. But the thing is that now we're looking at when has this happened before? We'll do it in the break, Mike. One thing that in history is the Magna Carta. Now, let's go ahead and pull up, you know, some of this stuff is we need to go over just as my wife and I were kind of redoing our history here. And I would have had this ready for the video in the next hour, but here we go. The Magna Carta, now let's think about this. This is the we are not amused people in Britain right now are dealing with this. This has happened before. What the Magna Carta was in June of 2015, okay? June of 2015, what they did is there was, the same thing that's going on. The government was not being limited by law at all. They weren't, they weren't respecting the rights of individuals. And what happened was the King John of England proclaimed, okay, I am going to be susceptible to the law. My will is not arbitrary. I'm gonna, let you at least, you get, habeas corpus. You have a lawyer. You're gonna be able to be judged by, and it came. Initially, I think they called it the Charter of Liberties. On and on and on. Not the point. What they did is it went like this. You had these different barons, and they understood that if you had somebody in the wings to take over from the king, well, he just kills that guy. And whoever he perceived to be the guy, and name doesn't matter. There was a one that, he would take over, and he'd be the new king, this conquer by conquest thing. And he goes, that guy seems like boom, dead. He committed suicide on a sword or whatever, so he's gone. Well, you think it'd be over. Well, these guys are smart. They said, you know what? We're going to replace you with nothing. How about we just do this law thing? And so they marched into the castle, into the city, where the man was, and they go, and the people opened up the gates and said, come on in, man, go get them. So they come in with their troops and such, and they sat him down, and they say, you see this piece of paper? Says right here, it's going to be your brains or your signature is going to be on this piece of paper. Do we understand each other? Why, yes, you know what? I will sign that piece of paper. At the time, they were I wanted to negotiate with the Pope as the arbiter. Well, of course, they got him on the side and work whatever deal. And the barons, they no. Hell no. It is, you agree to our terms, or you know what? We got, we got future plans for you. They have no future. So the Magna Carta, 1215, this is like the beginning. They called it, Magna, the Great Charter, the deal. Here's the deal. So they go in the royalty, decide it was in their best interest to say, yes, I will be subject to the law too. I can't just do this arbitrary grabbing somebody off the street, holding them indefinitely, and because I say, because you WikiLeaked on me, no, heck no. So this was kind of the beginning of the exercise, and by then you're having writing. I mean, at least people are writing. You're communicating with each other, and you have these barons, of course, in their self-interest. Now, this only applied to freedmen, free men. The serfs, they were kind of like under the jurisdiction and the cattle of the barons. So it didn't apply to everybody. So this is the beginnings of this. Well, as time went on, what happened? Well, they whittled away all the deals on that. They whittled away on, this doesn't apply, and this doesn't apply. And then it goes, and, time goes on, you get another deal. And then it gets to the New World. This concept, this battle for freedom has been going on a long time. And it's expanding all over the world with what basic principle? We'll talk about that when we come back in just a little bit.